Hello guys, what's up and welcome to another fragrance related video. In today's video we are only talking about one scent, but this is something that I really am enjoying. It's my new scent that I bought, Fede Opera Noir L'Or. I don't know how to say that last word. I guess it's like L'Or or something, L'Or. Anyway, Opera Noir L'Or. I'm bad at pronunciation, do not worry about it. Anyway, normally I don't even show you guys the boxes that things come in because I feel like that's a little bit of a buffer thing because in reviews because people often disregard the box anyway, but I thought that I'd show you guys this packaging because it's really pretty. So this is the Fede Opera Noir L'Or and it comes in this black and gold box, and the reason why I wanted to show it to you is because this would probably make a very beautiful gift because of the box being so pretty. It opens up from the front like this, and you have the fragrance nestled in there very nicely. So it is really heavily in there, you can't drop it from there. So I'm really impressed by this package. That's why I'm sharing it with you guys. So anyway, the bottle comes there and it would make a really pretty gift. So let's take it out. So this is the bottle of Opera Noir, and I'm not gonna say the L'Or because I don't know how to say it. I'll write it down so you guys can see exactly how it's written. But this is what the fragrance looks like. It has a really pretty black bottle and it just says that it's eau de parfum 100 milliliters in the bottom, and you get the name here, Opera Noir L'Or. So there we go. And Fede is a branch of Khadlaj perfumes, and I've been really loving Khadlaj lately, and I was super excited to try this one. There's two different Opera perfumes. The other one is Opera Rose L'Or, and this one is the darker sister of the two. So the other one is way more brighter and fresher, I've heard. So anyway, what does this smell like? I actually wrote this down to be able to tell you guys, but the top notes are blackcurrant and water notes. Middle notes are rose, cyclamen, daffodil, jasmine, sambac. And base notes are agarwood, patchouli, incense, benzoin, and caramel. Okay, so right off the bat, people say that this is a dupe or a sister to Magie Noir, the perfume called Magie Noir. And honestly, I don't think so. The reason being that this is way more likable than Magie Noir. Magie Noir is a cheaper fragrance and I've tried it and I did not like it. But I like this one. The reason being that the main difference between the two is that Magie Noir is way more projecting, way more strong in my opinion, and the other difference being that this is way sweeter and fruitier version of the similar DNA. So yes, they are similar to each other, but I find that this is a modern take on Magie Noir. So if you've ever wanted to have a more modern version that is less Chypre-like vintage Chypre-like, you'd probably like this one, because this has the much needed sweetness and fruitiness that the original Magie Noir does not have. But anyway, I'm gonna spray this out so you guys can see the sprayer. And oh, by the way, the cap is metal. Really good quality metal. It's a very beautiful bottle. So here's the sprayer. Very pretty, even distribution. But yeah, this is a super dark pretty scent, okay? In the beginning I get that blackcurrant and those watery notes in the top, and I really like it. It feels juicy, but at the same time very dark. This is a gothic perfume. With, in my opinion, moderate projection. I know that people have said that this is beastly, and I don't know if mine hasn't macerated enough to become beastly, but mine isn't. The way I see it, it's moderate projection, like a arm's length, maybe, maximum. And it is such a pretty scent. What I get from the initial blast is mainly sweetness, very juicy blackcurrant note, those water notes, and deep dark wood, aka agar wood. There's also this earthiness that I think is caused by patchouli and daffodil. There's earthy greenness in the background, but that is a background nuance. The main things, honestly, in this is the agar wood and the blackcurrant and water notes, and it is so pretty. It gives me a very mystical aura, but I was surprised that this is a moderate projection perfume. It's not beastly, as other reviewers have said. Other reviewers have said that this is a beast, that it projects like super lot and it's like a very dense, heavy fragrance. I don't think so. I actually think it's, yes, it's deep and dark and romantic, a little gothic, but this one, honestly, even though it's dark, it's not a super dense and heavy perfume. It's honestly a moderate projection perfume, at least on me and my skin chemistry, and it is not such a long-lasting fragrance as other reviewers have said. Some people say that this is a 24-hour fragrance, and for me personally, I don't think so. I've tested this out, and what I get is something akin to 6 to 8 hours, okay? Just to let you guys know, I think that the problem with the other reviewers is that they are sponsored, and they have to say that. Or the other reason might be that their fragrance is more macerated than mine, and as such stronger. So either or. But I'm telling you guys, my review is not sponsored at all. I bought this with my own money, so I can say whatever the heck I want. And the truth about this fragrance is that even though it does smell moderately, it is a deep and sexy fragrance, and it's bold DNA. The longevity is only 6 to 8 hours, and the projection is honestly only an arm's length. So that's my experience with this fragrance. So I think that the original Magie Noir, if I remember correctly, it was way more beastly than this one. It was way more harsh also, and way more old-fashioned chypre without that sweetness. And honestly, I did not like the DNA. I don't like chypres oftentimes, so I'm a bad reviewer for giving you guys any review on chypre fragrances, because I most oftentimes don't like the oak mossiness and the sourness of them, or that kind of, well, they don't have enough sweetness for me personally. But this one has. So this is a very likable version of that Magie Noir DNA. And why I say likable and updated is because the blackcurrant in this feels very fresh and modern. It, with the watery notes, it does feel a little lifted. There's definitely a heaviness in the background that is caused by the caramel, benzoin, agar wood and incense, and you get that kind of a very nicely blended mix of all of those notes that is makes a heavy base. Okay, so this is definitely a heavier fragrance, definitely more for winter, autumn time, but because of the moderate projection, I think that you could get away with it during springtime. It might be a little too much for summertime, unless you are that kind of gothic personality who really loves that kind of deep fragrances, okay? But yeah, what my overall thoughts on this are is that I'm wondering if my bottle needs to macerate more to become better, or if the other reviewers are biased because they are sponsored. I'm wondering that honestly, because for me, even though I like this fragrance a lot, I find it gothic, I find it sexy, I find it mysterious. My problem with it is that it does not last 24 hours like some reviewers say. And honestly, the other problem is that it's not a very heavy projecting fragrance, even though it kind of feels like it should be. So that's the only critique that I have of this fragrance, and I want to be honest with you guys. Because I'm not sponsored, I can say whatever I want, as I said, because I buy things with my own money. But that's just my experience with this fragrance so far. And I'm always kind of iffy when sponsored fragrance reviewers hype up a fragrance a lot, because I often feel like they are biased, or they might be a little more positive in their reviews just to keep good relations with the sponsors. So that's the only thing I'm saying. It's not a fault of this fragrance or anything. Overall, I think that this is definitely a very good fragrance if you are into gothic perfumes. My highlight points of this is the beautiful oud. This oud in this is very likable. It is definitely oudy, but it's also beautifully blended, that oud, with benzoin, caramel and incense and that patchouli. Like, everything is perfectly blended in this. It is so pretty. Like, the base is amazing. I absolutely love the caramel. I feel like it definitely turns this into a very modern fragrance. What this evokes in me is a garden, a nighttime garden in a gothic church's backdrop or something. Like, that's kind of what I think when I smell this. It is definitely a very gothic perfume. It is definitely not for the faint of heart. You need to like oud. You need to like heavier fragrances. You need to like that kind of dark and mysterious aura that this is gonna bring you. And you need to be okay with the 6 to 8 hour lasting power. But I do have a feeling that once this macerates, it might actually become more long lasting. That has happened with a couple of my fragrances, and I feel like this is a very potential fragrance for that. What I especially like in this is the very slight kind of like green powdery aspect, and I feel like that's the daffodil or narcissus. I've seen two different versions of the notes. One says that it has daffodil and one says that it has narcissus. Whatever, the one or the other, it's still giving it a kind of like a greener aspect and a powdery aspect that I like a lot. So definitely, yeah. Who is this for? For my gothic bitches out there, I think you'd definitely like this. If you love Armaf Magnificent Femme, if you like Treasure Midnight Rose, if you like, what would I say, other fragrances, I keep forgetting. But I guess like Modeste Dieu from Afnan, you'd probably be right up this alley, okay? You'd probably like this. If you like Amethyst, Boreal Oud Amethyst by Latafa, I'd think that you would enjoy this fragrance. So if you are into those fragrances that I mentioned, I think you'd probably like this. And yeah, I'm pretty impressed by this, and I definitely pick this over Magie Noir. And honestly, the price point is pretty good for this. I feel like it's a good price point in it, that this is a very good fragrance. This does not smell at all alcoholic. It is very pretty. I think I got this for 31 euros, and I've seen it float around with a little bit cheaper. like 23 euros, so it's 20 to 35 euros range, and I feel like it's a pretty good one for the price, honestly. It is way more classy than you'd guess from the price range. So yeah, definitely a love for me. Honestly, I do love this a lot, and I do feel like once winter hits, I will probably get a lot more wear out of it. Right now I need to be a little bit careful because it's plus 30 Celsius out there. So I'm definitely smelling a lot of this fragrance. So yeah, and be mindful of your sprays. If you spray very heavily, it might turn suffocating, okay? So yeah, that's my review on La Fede Opera Noir L'Or. And I hope you guys like this video. And I see you guys in my next one. I've got a couple of fragrances coming my way, so keep an eye out for reviews on those. And as always, I love you guys, and it's really fun to have you around, so maybe hit the subscribe button. Yeah, like this video. I see you guys in my next one. Bye.